have a handbag unboxing, guys. This is a very special one. I'm very excited about it. However, I also made a huge mistake with this bag, and I'm going to need your help. I'll ask you what I need help with after I tell you what the mistake was. So we'll see. And just seeing the bag, I've never seen it in person. You'll see why. Seeing it may help me decide to figure out if my mistake was worth it or not. We shall see. Let's get started. Hi YouTube, Autumn Beckman here. Welcome to my channel, or welcome back to my channel. My channel is all about luxury living on a budget, from high-end luxury handbags and small goods to the everyday luxuries of life. If that sounds interesting to you, please make sure you subscribe, click the bell notification icon to be notified when I post new videos, and be sure to like the videos that you enjoy. And one of the perks of subscribing to my channel is you get to see my community posts on your YouTube homepage. That's where I post about deals, discount codes, sales, and rare finds, which is what this is. Well, kind of related to all these beautiful things we love. This is an item from Coach. It's a very special, unique item from Coach. Kind of. You'll see what I mean. Let's get into it, and then I'll tell you the story behind it and the big mistake I made. Get your advice. I know that there are a lot of you who know a whole lot more about Coach than I do. You guys, some of you are like experts on Coach, and you'll be able to help me figure this out and tell me for sure whether my mistake was worth it. So I've cut the tape, and let's open the box. And there we go. I wasn't sure if they would package this the same way that they do their regular bags. You'll see what I mean. It looks so far like they have the brown paper and the sticker. And they have it in a dust bag with a little pillow on top to keep it protected here. There's the typical Coach postcard. I keep all this stuff handy here. Here's my Coach receipt in the envelope. And then here is the Coach bag. All right. I'm very excited to see this. Very excited. Okay. Pulling the strings. You can hear Vincent whistling a little bit in the background. Opening the dust bag. I'm going to put my hand under it. I think that'll be the best way to pull it out. And here we go. Ta-da! This is a Coach, what they call reloved bag. This is a vintage Coach bag that Coach themselves has taken and restored. So they've cleaned it up and I guess fixed anything that may have been wrong with it. And then they're reselling it directly from the Coach website, and they call it reloved. This particular bag they have called the vintage, because it is vintage, classic pouch. Hi guys, Autumn from the future here. I just wanted to interject to say that since I filmed this video, I've learned a lot more about vintage Coach and restoration and all this stuff. So at the end of this video, I'm going to give you some more information on some of the things that I talked about in this video. I'm going to tell you what I decided about this bag, whether I decided to keep it or not, and a couple other things that I didn't mention in past autumn that you were just seeing. So let's get back to the video, but make sure you stay tuned to the very end for some updates. I have about 20 things going through my head right now. Let me try to focus. And let me first tell you the story of why I bought this. I only recently discovered this Coach reloved thing on their website. I thought it was a new thing, but I've been watching videos about Coach that have been filmed in the last year or two, and apparently it's been going on for at least that long, so it's not as new as I thought. But I have noticed that lately when they post these bags, which is not very often, that they sell out almost immediately. Like by the time you know that they've posted them, most of them are gone already, if not all of them are gone. I knew that they were posting some the other day, and I kept checking the website every, 3 minutes, couple of hours, it depended. And when they finally popped up, a lot of them had been sold out by the time I got there. But there were about 3 bags that were still available. There was this one, there was a canteen bag. There was a swinger bag, a large swinger bag. And because I knew that they sold out so quickly and I wanted to get one, I bought it. They didn't have any pictures of this bag on the website except the front view like this. They didn't have any side view or back view or inside or anything like that. They also didn't have a whole lot of information on the bag, whereas many of the other listings for the vintage reloved bags, they do have more pictures. So like I said, because I knew that they sold out so fast, I bought it immediately, which is not my usual process. Usually when I'm spending money on a handbag, and this wasn't cheap, I would say, I do a little research first and I do some price comparisons and things like that. I didn't do that with this one because I was so caught up in the moment. That's how much you want for it? I'll take it and you can take my money. So it turns out they asked $450 for this bag and I coughed it up. And after I purchased it, I did a little research and you can find these bags for a quarter of that price. Yeah. So that was my big mistake, not checking prices before I jumped on that. So I way overpaid for it. That's where I want to ask you guys, you people who know so much more about Coach than I do, whether you think it's worth it. The fact, and of course I'll show you the bag and that'll help you decide and give me some advice. The fact that Coach restored it, is that worth the extra money? Because there are a lot of people who buy vintage Coach bags and will clean them, restore them, and then post them for sale for a whole lot cheaper than $450. Since I purchased this and since I discovered that, I've purchased another one of these in a different color. This color is called tan, different from British tan, I've learned. Do you mind? I'm trying to film. Could you quiet it down over there, please? And the other one that I purchased, which looks to be possibly in even better condition than this one, I paid $100 for this other one and it's in the color mahogany, which is dark brown. That one hasn't arrived yet. What I would like to do, if I can, I'm not sure when that one's supposed to arrive though and what my return window is on this, but what I'd like to do is compare the two and see how a Coach restoration compares to your average Joe restoration. I'm also curious if there's anything special that comes with this being a special Coach bag. So far, nothing in the packaging. It wasn't packaged any different. I don't know if there might be something on the inside. Probably not at this point. I have noticed that in the listings I've seen for this bag, I don't think I've seen any in this color, in the tan. So that could make it something that's a little more special. By the way, if you're into Coach already, especially Coach vintage bags, you already know this. But if you're not, and you may get interested in it, this whole Coach vintage bag thing is a rabbit hole. And I knew that going into it, and this is why it's taken me so long to really start looking at Coach vintage bags, because I knew that there was going to be a huge learning curve for me. And I'm working on it. I've learned a lot in the few days since I purchased this bag, but it is a deep rabbit hole and I'm down in it. So there are colors that are more, and I'm not going into all of that in this video, of course, but I'll mention a few things. There are colors that are more easy to find, like black seems to be the easiest to find in any bag that I've looked at. British tan, fairly easy. Tan I haven't seen that much of. And then, there are a few other colors that are very difficult to find. Something else I learned about this style of bag in all my research is, like I said, they called it the classic pouch on the Coach website when they listed this particular bag, but it's also called the classic shoulder bag. So they're the same thing. And they have the same style number, which I believe was 9170. If I remember correctly. I'm going to check inside this one and see. There wasn't a picture of the style number on this, and it wasn't listed on the website either. From what I know so far, that would be the style number. And then there's also a bag I found called Patricia's Legacy, which looks exactly, as far as I can tell, like this bag on the outside, except inside it has a zipper. And this one is just open inside. I think that's all I wanted to share with you for now. Let's take a look at the bag in detail. One of the things about the Coach leathers is that they do have scratches and marks and things, as like there's a little sort of nick in it somewhere around here as they age, and that's part of the qualities in the leather. So that's a natural thing and it's an okay thing. So having those scratches and nicks and things, they're not considered flaws. It's considered part of the character of the bag or the leather and the beauty of it. So here's the front. I also don't know how old this bag is yet since they don't have the serial number pictured. There's one side. Here's the back. There's no pocket. That's just sewn together there. And you can see more of the scratches and things. Looks like there's some lines on it. I'm not sure what that is. That could be veining in the leather, perhaps, or it could be something else that happened to it over the years. I don't really know. There you go. And then here is the other side of the bag. And I was wondering, being that this is a Coach restoration, I was thinking maybe these bags would be pristine and they would look brand new, and this certainly does not. I can say that in my research, when I've been looking at other bags, this has scratch in it. It's almost like a little cut. Goodness, I'm going to show you here. You see that right there? Whoops, right there. That's a cut in the leather. This bag has wear and discoloration, and I would consider a cut like that damage, just like the bags that I've seen restored by the average person. Here's the bottom of the bag. So this is making me think that there's really nothing special about a restoration from Coach themselves, which makes me think it's not going to be worth the $450, and I should return it and stick with the like $150 bags that I have been finding. All right, that's the outside of the bag. Let's look inside. Here we go. So it has, these older vintage bags are suede on the inside. It's just the other side of the leather. This bag has a big pocket here, which is nice. And then, like I said, it's just open so that Patricia's Legacy bag, that's zipped here, so you can actually close it up. And you see there are more scratches and things. It also looks like on these corners, there's some rubbing and wear. And I thought that things like that would have been fixed better by Coach. Like, I wasn't really expecting to see that kind of wear. Man, this goes, hold on a minute here. So there was that cut on the outside, and there's another cut on the inside of this flap. You see it there, that's pretty obvious. It does not go through to the front of the bag. It's not the same cut as the one on the front. All right, let me pull the strap out. The strap is detachable, and it looks like this, and I'll do a mod shot in a minute. Here, I didn't notice this in any of the photographs that I've been looking at of other bags like this, but it tapers in and gets more narrow here. It has 4 holes where you can adjust the length. And then on the inside of the strap, it's suede, and the whole bag and the strap too have this, piping isn't the right word, I forget. It's like bias tape, but that's not what this is. Just this leather trim that's folded over it so the edges aren't raw. There's no glazing on the bag anywhere, so that's not something you have to worry about. It has a tag attached, and it's not a tag I think you'd find in a retail store because it doesn't have as much information as those, but it does have a barcode and the price, which is $450, and it says Coach New York on the back. And they have stuffed it with tissue paper. Take that out. Inside of the bag is very clean. That's good. So let me show you that. Very clean, beautiful inside. And it's all lined in suede, which, well, isn't a lining, it's just the other side of the leather, like I keep saying. Has this one big zipped compartment there, or pocket, and I really like these vintage zipper pulls with the little circle hanging from it. I think that's pretty. Zip and unzip. The zipper's very smooth. That's good. So they must have cleaned that up. Inside the pocket is a little piece of paper. I'm going to check that out. And there's the inside of that pocket. Again, it's suede. And let's take a look at the Coach Creed here. This is something else I've been learning a lot about. If I can get it to where you can see it. Okay, so there's the Creed. I know you can't see it super well there. By the way, this leather is really soft and smushy. Like, you can do all this to the bag and it doesn't hurt it. I've been watching videos on that, so I know it's safe to do that. I know you couldn't see that very well, but the Creed, if you don't know about those, I've always known that Coach bags have those, but I've never even read one and paid attention to it until a few days ago when I started researching this. Oh, this is interesting too. So I talked about a style number and the serial number. And those have changed over the years, just like they have with Louis Vuitton and Chanel and other brands. So the number on this one, it's hard for me to see. It's dark in here in the bag. The style number is, or the number is 167-6317. Now that 4-digit number after the dash is the style number. However, I don't know for sure. I know starting in 1994 that was the case. I don't know before that yet. So the fact that this says 6317 as what I would think would be the style number, that's different from the 9170 that I said earlier. So one of the things that I've done to help me learn more about these bags and the style numbers and the differences, because a lot of them look very similar, but then they'll have a different style number. And I'm like, what is the difference? Or they'll have similar names. And what I've done is I went on Etsy, and there was a seller there I can link below, and they have put, I think it's 30 different vintage Coach catalogs on a USB drive, and you can buy it for like $30 and they'll send you the USB. So I've done that, but I don't have it yet. It's supposed to arrive in a couple days. So that way I'll be able to go through the catalog and write down the bags I'm interested in or find something I'm interested in. And I don't know if they'll have anything that dates back this far, because this is a pretty old bag, but that should be helpful. Because I've seen some photographs, if you do a Google search for Coach and certain style numbers, like if you search Coach 9170, I think that's what it was, it'll bring up mostly pictures of bags and listings of that bag, but there may also be a couple of photographs of old catalogs, and it has the original listings where it shows you the bag, tells you a little about it, it gives you the official name and the style number. So that's super helpful. Another thing I've learned, actually let me read this creed first and then tell you more about what I've learned about it. So this says, this is a Coach bag. It's made out of completely natural glove-tanned cowhide. The scars, scratches, veins, and wrinkles are natural markings and characteristic of full-grain leathers. And then under that, in smaller print, it says, made in New York City, USA. Now, one of the things I've learned is when you find a Coach bag like this that says made in New York City, that it's most likely from the 70s, and that it's one of the original Coach bags. These are highly desirable, and they're harder to find than others because, of course, there aren't as many of them because they're so old. And, of course, that would also explain the corner wear and everything. Considering that this bag, from my understanding, is from the 70s, that makes it a 50-year-old bag, that it's in pretty impressive condition. I mean, pretty impressive. However, does that make it worth the $450? When I've seen other bags that are also made in New York City that are 100, 150. Some of them, depending on the restoration, the condition of it, they can be over 200, some can be more than that. It depends, but most of the bags I found at this point in time are around 100, 150. Now, a year ago, you could find those same bags for $50. So they've gone up quite a bit. I think that's everything that I wanted to see and show you and talk about on that bag, but it did come with this little card. It says, printed on one side, this is a Coach vintage bag, lovingly restored by our craftspeople. It's part of our commitment to reducing our impact on the planet. Wear it, love it, pass it on. That's nice. And then on the other side, it says, and this appears to be handwritten by the person who restored the bag, says the date of the restoration was April 9th, 2021, and I'm filming this on May 18th, so that was just over a month ago that this was restored. The style is the classic shoulder bag. Now, see what I said? That there were two different names for this bag. Here they have it listed as the classic shoulder bag, but on the website it was the classic pouch. Same bag. The restorer was Debbie Barros, and that was actually mentioned in the listing too. And then she handwrote all of that except for the date stamp. She handwrote, lovingly restored by me to you, with a little heart and Deb. And then it has, I'll show you, it has a stamp at the bottom here to Debbie the Restorer. And it has a website on her stamp, which I can't read. It's something magnifiques.com. I'm gonna figure that out and I'll post it below. And that makes me think, now it's my understanding that it's the Coach craftspeople. It says our craftspeople, but then that and her having a website on there makes me think that they've hired third-party people. Does anybody know? This is interesting. This whole Coach vintage thing, there are some really good websites where you can learn things, and there are a few good videos too. There aren't as many videos as I was expecting there would be, to be honest. But what I have found is that if you want to learn about this stuff, you really have to do most of it on your own. And it's like putting a puzzle together, figuring all these things out. My feeling right now, knowing what I've learned this week, is that I will probably return this bag. The thing I love most about this particular one, oh, I was gonna do mod shots too, I'll do that. There are two things that I love about this particular bag, like the one that's in my hands. One, it's made in New York City. I definitely want a vintage Coach bag that's made in New York City, and I haven't yet purchased one other than this. I have purchased 4 other vintage Coach bags so far. I have more on my wish list and will probably purchase more. But the fact that this is made in New York City and that that's kind of rare doesn't mean it's impossible to find another one or really that difficult. I found a lot of dinky bags, which is a little small flap with a twist lock crossbody strap that's not removable. There are a lot of those available that are made in New York, and I've found a few of this bag that's available made in New York City. I found a blue one that I'm considering, and I also found, that one was a very good price, but I also found a green one, like a light, sort of a light green color-ish, not like a lime green, but it was pretty, but it also had a lot of scratches and things, and I don't know if I want something quite that worn, and it was pricey. It was like $200 something. So for me, oh, and the other thing is this color. Did I mention that already? The tan, I haven't found so much in this bag, but you can find it in British tan. So yeah, I think this one's gonna go back, but I still wanna know what you Coach people think about it. Is it worth $450? You know, that's my big hang up. If it had only been $100, $150, I'd keep it. The $450 just seems exorbitant knowing what I know now. All right, let me do quick mod shots. Okay, here it is on the shoulder. Oh, I like that a lot. I do like the color too. That is very pretty. Very, very pretty. Oh, I like it with this gray. It's so nice. Now, crossbody at this setting does not work. Let me try it on the longest setting, which is not that much longer than this because they have it on the one just above the longest. I know it's meant to be a shoulder bag, not a crossbody, but I'm just curious. Okay, so there's the longest setting. Still a really good setting for a shoulder strap, and that is not going to work crossbody, no. That sits way up here. We try the shortest length now for the shoulder bag. Oh, and I forgot to show you the hang tag on it too. It does have that little Coach hang tag. It says Coach Leatherwear. Oh, and that was a thing on the Creed. I don't know if you can see it there. It says Coach Leatherwear up on the top. Apparently that has changed over the years as well. Here it is on the shortest setting, so that's really nice as well. Yeah, that all looks good. It is a really pretty bag. I'll probably end up with a few of these in my collection, and I do really like that color with the gray. It's so pretty. Kind of makes me consider keeping it. My only problem really is that cut, because that cut is damage. That's not just a scratch. So Coach people, again, worth it, $450. If I really like it, would you keep it with a cut on it like that? Like if it was a Louis Vuitton bag, most people would say, no, send it back. It's not, it's Coach, and it's vintage. I don't know. What do you guys think? I'm on the fence about it. It's gonna take me a while to decide, maybe. I'm still leaning towards sending it back because of the price, but I don't know. I'm gonna have to think about that. It's really lovely. Let's see if the receipt says anything special about it. No, the receipt just says vintage classic pouch in tan for $450. And it says I have a 30-day return window, which is the normal policy, and I can mail it back or return it into a Coach store. Hi guys, Future Autumn here again. I'm going to update you on a couple things. First of all, one of the things I forgot to mention about the condition of this bag is that it did have a bit of a musty odor. And I mentioned in the video that I've purchased a total of 4 vintage Coach bags. At the time I'm filming this, I have purchased a total of 7. and I still have a couple more on my wish list. This is another reason why I have not gotten into Coach vintage bags until now, because I knew this would happen. And believe it or not, even with 7 bags purchased in the last week or two, I am actually being very careful and mindful and strategic about what I'm buying. I have to say, they are amazing. But they're amazing. You'll see when you start watching the other videos, the unboxings and all the things. They're amazing bags. But the bag did have a bit of a musty odor, and none of the other ones that I have unboxed so far have had that. So I'm going to put some silica packets and charcoal packs in that bag and see if that'll pull it out. It's very light. I really don't smell it unless I put my nose up to it. I will be doing another video that is a dedicated like beginner's guide to vintage Coach, and I already have a bunch of notes for it, but I would love to know your questions. So anything that you would like me to try to research and find answers to, things you're wondering, whatever, or if you're somebody who already knows a lot about this and you have some things that I need to be sure to mention in the video, if y'all could leave that in the comment section below, I'd really appreciate it. I also learned more about Debbie the Restorer, who is the person who restored the bag in this video. From what I understand, she is the one person who does these restorations. She is third party. Coach has hired her to do these. There's a video, if I can find the link, I'll put it in the description box below. There's a video where Coach is kind of introducing her as their restoration person. My understanding is she is still third party, but hired by them. She has a website, which I mentioned in the video, and I will link that in the description box below as well. She has blog posts. She has one page that's a shop where she has vintage bags that she's restored, Coach bags, unrelated to being hired by Coach, just things that she's done on her own. Right now, and I think for a while, because I saw a comment about this, that page has been down. I don't know if she'll post other things, so that might be something that you want to look at. But she has a lot of good information there. And she has a couple of YouTube videos too. They're old videos, like 6 years old, but I'll link her channel below as well. But yeah, it's my understanding that she's the only person doing these restorations for Coach right now. She sources the bags from all over. She has them shipped to her, cleans them, restores them, and then I guess hands them over to Coach, who then sells them. So part of the price, the more expensive price of these bags, is that they're paying her to purchase the bags, to restore the bags, and then also they need a profit on top of that. So it's not just an individual buying a bag for, let's say, $50, restoring it with materials they already have, and then turning it around for $150 and making $100 off of it. Coach wants to make more than that. You have to factor all those things in when you're thinking about buying one of these restored bags directly from Coach. The bags that I saw on Debbie's shop page, and these are old listings, bags that had already sold, they seem to be about half the price that Coach is currently offering, so that may give you an idea. I mean, I have no idea what their deal is with her, but that may give you an idea of what kind of markup Coach is doing, perhaps. And I said in this video that there was nothing special about the Coach restorations and that they weren't worth the money. I think I was wrong about that. I do think that there are other people who can do what Debbie does. It's not like she's the only person in the world, and I don't know enough about her or about restoration to know, I would assume she's one of the best. But as I've been shopping for bags and observing different kinds of bags, different conditions, bags that are restored versus not restored, learning more about the bags and which ones are more rare than others. There are a lot of bags. It looks like most of the bags that are in really good condition, that are like buy it and use it, right? You don't have to do anything to it. They tend to be in the $100, $150 range right now, maybe up to $200. But there are quite a few sellers that have bags that are over $200, over $300, over $400. It just depends on a lot of things. So sometimes it seems to be worth it to spend those higher dollars if a bag is more rare, or if it's a certain color that's hard to find, or if the restoration is really good, or especially for the age of the bag. You just have to take all these factors into consideration when you are considering the price point. The only thing about the bag that bothers me at this point is that little cut on the front. I mean, it's something really light. It could be like a cat's claw scratched it. It's not very deep. That's what I mean. Hi guys, future Autumn here. I have another update. And this I wasn't expecting. So I have the bag that I've been featuring in this entire video. Here it is for the 100th time. And I still have the tag attached, you notice. I have not cut it off. The reason for that is that even though I was okay with keeping this bag for $450, even though that's overpriced and it has this little cut in it, I wanted to keep looking during my 30-day return window to see if I could find another bag in this color for a better price, and I did. Meet my new bag. This is in saddle. It is in like new condition. I mean, this bag looks like I just got it from the store. Brand spanking new. It is gorgeous. Everything about it is gorgeous. It has pretty much no flaws at all. I mean, you see some wrinkling in the leather, maybe little scratches here and there, but I mean, it's basically brand new. Inside is the same. It is clean. It is gorgeous. It is spectacular. And it's also a New York City bag, just like this one. Let me show you the two colors next to each other because they are a little different. It's difficult to tell when you're purchasing online what exactly the color will be on these vintage Coach bags. I have been learning that as I've been purchasing them. So there are the two colors side by side. The more yellow one is the brand new one. Well, not the brand new one, but the one that's new to me that I just got. And then this is the one that I got directly from Coach. So this one will be going back. Again, $450. This one I paid $250 for, so I'm saving myself $200 by sending this back. I do really like both of these colors. I know for sure that this one is called Saddle. I got this off eBay from a seller who I will link below because she's fantastic. She has gorgeous bags and she seems to know a lot about vintage Coach. I've been talking to her a bit. She has some little leather swatches from Coach that say what the different colors are, and this one she was able to match exactly to the one that's called Saddle. This bag from Coach, I really don't know exactly what color it is. They called it tan on the website, but I've gone through some of the color swatches in the catalogs, the vintage catalogs, and I can't find a color just called tan. Maybe I'm overlooking it. Is it a darker faded version of Saddle because the dyes aren't always the same across different batches and across different years? Is it taupe? Is it something else? I don't know what color it is. Another thing I noticed about these two bags is that the Saddle one, the one that's newer to me, is, here, let me put it this way, maybe you can see that better. It's taller. It seems to be taller. Let me see. Everything about them is exactly the same. I was comparing them to see, actually let me turn it around and show you the other side because the tag is in the way on that side. Okay, everything about them is constructed the same. The one in the lighter color, the Saddle, seems to be a little taller and maybe slightly longer. You can see there. I think I have those pretty even. Everything else about them is the same. Both colors are beautiful. I'm going to be very happy keeping this and saving $200. It's cool that this one is directly from Coach and that it was cleaned and restored by Debbie the Restorer. It's cool to have that little card inside, but I'd rather save the $200, frankly. So all that, and we end up here, but it was a learning experience for sure. I'm learning so much as I purchase more of these vintage handbags and do research on them and talk to people about them. I'm loving them so, so much. Now back to Autumn of the Past. All right, thank you so much for watching, and thank you especially to those of you who are gonna leave me some fantastic advice, because I know you will, because you always do. I really appreciate that, and I appreciate you watching and sticking around. This was a good experience. I've learned a lot. I don't think there are any other videos on someone talking about these restored bags from Coach and showing one, so I'm happy at least to be able to make that and add to the knowledge that's available from YouTube about Coach vintage bags. Because I tell you what, I have been looking for a lot of different things on YouTube related to Coach vintage bags, and there aren't as many videos as I thought there would be. So I'll definitely be making videos on the bags that I get so that they're out there for other people who are looking for them. What else? I hope you and your loved ones are doing well, and I hope you have a fantastic day. Bye.